Uh, well, I mean, kind of after the media yesterday, I went and looked back at that kid yesterday, and he's pretty dang good. You know, I don't want to take any credit away from him. He's pretty good. So, but on the same token, I didn't think our guys were focused in on what we could have done a better job against him, and I think we were rolling over today. We were a lot more focused in on what we were trying to do. So I think that resulted in a lot better success.
Cornelius has been getting some big outs here early on in the season. What kind of role do you see him having as the season progresses?
Very big. You know, that's a kid that just has waited his turn, and once he's gotten it, he's made the most of every opportunity or of his opportunities that he's had, and big situations that he's come in, and game's still in limbo, and he just kind of goes out there and does his job. So excited for him. It's you know, again, one of those things, you work ahead in the count, throw strikes, change speeds in the zone, and you can be effective. So he's been doing great.
So his development has been kind of unexpected to you coming from preseason. What has he, I guess, changed in his 2 outings, the regular season that he went out in the preseason? Or done better, I guess.
I mean, the moment hasn't been too big for him. He just goes and competes. And to me, that's what I ask of our pitchers is, don't try to come up with something that you don't have. Just be really good at what you do have, and you're going to be fine. And some of these younger kids need to learn from that. And you know, they have better stuff, you know, than Matty does, but they don't throw strikes with it. So it's not very useful if you can't throw it over the plate. So they can take a page out of his book and learn just to stay cool and collected when they go out there and trust their stuff the way that he's been doing. And you can, you know, all these guys can be very effective if they do that, but we can't be effective if we're working behind.
To build off of that, Coach, you mentioned being able to remain collected. Burns had a home run go off on the first batter, yet he remained collected, and he ended the night on 8 strikeouts and 7 in his first outing. Could you talk about a little bit about his mentality and how he kind of overcame that and how he developed throughout the mound tonight?
You know, and that's told you guys after his last start that, you know, Tom is going to give up a run or two here and there. You know, it's going to happen. He's not invincible, but the great thing about him is when he does give up runs, he doesn't seem to be rattled. He just goes right back to work and continues his game plan. And he's a very smart kid, where he kind of sensed that they were, you know, on his fastball, and so he started pitching backwards kind of on his own tonight. And the great thing about him is he's able to drop his breaking stuff in for strikes, work ahead off of that, and pitch backwards when he needs to and still be effective. And he's still got 95 in the tank when he needs it, but you know, was throwing those guys backwards and tying them into knots. So you know, Tommy's, again, I've said it before, that's why he's on Friday night for us.
One of the first things Thomas said in the presser wasn't his best night. What does that suggest about the ceiling for him this season as he continues to get ramped up and with more and more starts?
Well, I think that's what you want to see out of your guys on the weekend, is that even when they don't have their best stuff, they're still willing and able to compete with what they have. They adjust based on how they're feeling and are still able to execute, whereas, you know, a lesser guy would fold up and, I don't have my best stuff today, and forget that I still got 3 other pitches I can go to. But that's what Tommy did tonight, is he wasn't feeling great with his fastball, so he went to some off-speed stuff and pitched off of that and was very effective with it. So good pitchers are able to adjust.
Do you like continuing to stretch him out as the year goes on?
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to need to. I think, you know, with all of our starters, I think we went 75 last outing. Today, the magic number was 90. I think he finished with 91 today, so that's right where we wanted him. I didn't want to leave him out there any longer than that. The next start, you know, if we need to, we'll stretch him out over, you know, up to 100 maybe if we have to. But you know, that's the kind of the plan, and what we've always stuck with here is ramping these guys up, and their health is paramount for me, you know, and I'm not going to blow out arms early in the year just to, you know, go for wins early in the year. Yes, they're important. Obviously, this program is about winning, but not at the expense of hurting our kids. So, you know, we'll ramp them up the best way we know how and stretch them out carefully.
Entire starting 9 against tonight, obviously doesn't speak to the depth of the lineup, but also its resilience to come back from facing a plus or last night.
Yeah, I mean, again, they were a little bit more focused today, and I made sure they were a little more focused today. So, not saying that's the reason they had a good night tonight, but I think just you could sense the aura that I was a little disappointed yesterday, and they better come with it today. So they bounced back very well.
How do you maintain that focus moving forward?
That's the trick. You try not to ride them too hard, but you got to ride them enough to where they're locked in, and that's the challenges of, like I said yesterday, dealing with 18 to 22-year-old kids. You don't want to lose them, but you got to keep them sharp at the same time. So that's what makes the job fun and challenging at the same time. They bounced back today, and a couple of them had some fun with me out during BP and said, "Coach, why are you so pissed off today?" I said, "Well, get us a win, and I won't be so damn pissed." So, anyway, they know how to push the buttons on the flip side too.
One of those guys that feels really locked in right now is Isaiah Jackson to start the season. What about his game has developed from last year, especially offensively?
Well, that's one of the guys that knows how to push my buttons a little bit and get me smiling, even though he could tell I was still a little bit hot today. So, Zay is just, starting to come into his own and do what he's capable of doing. And I think we've all seen the physical stature of him, the past, last year and what he's capable of doing. And then he's starting to put it all together now, which is a lot of fun. Continues to stay within himself, stay balanced through his swing, and it's fun to watch him hit when he's right.
Any thoughts about moving out in the lineup? Any thoughts about
We're averaging about 10 runs a game. I don't plan on moving the lineup too much.
Jacob told us a couple of minutes ago about how you kind of preached not losing 2 in a row and bouncing back. Is that something you guys have kind of stressed after these 2 losses, making sure that it doesn't load into another game or another 2 or 3 games?
Well, I mean, you try to limit the poor play and nip it and get back to what makes us successful. So if that results in a couple losses in a row, obviously we want to stay away from that. The whole this is a different because it's a 4-game series, but most of the time we're playing 3-game series. It's like you're going for the win, or you're going for the sweep, or you're not going to get swept. So you try to eliminate the bad play or the negative play as quickly as we can and move on and turn the page and get back to playing aggressive baseball. That's when we're at our best.
Are you satisfied with the way they've come back with Kansas State and tonight after those 2 losses?
I think this team is especially it's an offensive group or a group that the leadership is primarily position players. I think with the older position player group that we have, there's a few pitchers in there that are leaders as well. But I think those guys set the tone when they come to the field every day, and when they're flat, it's just like the whole outfit goes flat. So that's what I expect of them. Those older guys, the Harris Williams, the Camposes, Carstetters, Isaiah. I expect those guys to come and set the tone and not let there be a lull and a hangover from one day to the next after a loss. So even though, again, I was a little on edge today, I had my guys that hey, we're going to be fine. We ain't going to lose 2 in a row. We're good. So, okay, show me. So they did, and I'm proud of the way they responded today.
That dynamic of sort of a comfort in terms of a shared agreement on the culture of the program where it's at in that regard. How steady does that feel in year 3?
It's the expectations, I think, is what it boils down to. And, I put it in their hands an awful lot. Like, where do you guys want to be? Where do you want to be at the end of this year? Then if that's where you want to be, then you got to set your expectations and hold to it. You can't waver on it. And, sometimes that's not easy. You got to be tough on them, and they have to be tough on each other and hold each other accountable. So the fact that they're doing that and their expectations are to bounce back after a loss and not let this snowball is, it's pleasing to the ears, but it's easy to say, tough to do. So, but they're responding well so far.
How does an experienced guy like Harris Williams, who has 4 hits tonight, just that experience be able to set up the lineup and kind of set
His overall game just so dynamic that he can do so many things, and he's the spark plug of the whole lineup. So when he goes, we kind of go, which is great. And having that senior, at the top of your lineup that knows how to hit, that knows how to, take one day from the next and, flush yesterday and turn the page and come back today and set the tone again today. It's exactly what you want in a leadoff hitter.
A guy like Brandon Compton comes out of starting lineup, he's able to bounce in tonight and have 3 different RBI base hits. What does that speak to, the depth and the ability to add to and to continue to contribute throughout the lineup?
Comp is done a great job on understanding being ready to play, regardless if he's not in the starting lineup, to come off the bench. I think he had a pinch hit base hit, yesterday or the day before, a couple days ago. So he understands that, hey, man, you're in the lineup. You may not be starting the game, today, but as soon as they bring the right-hander in, you're coming in, that type of thing. But he's ready. He's ready for his opportunity, and it's shown.
How do you think just that ability and the depth of the team has kind of added to other guys being able to be ready and stay ready for those moments and be able to execute in the situations?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the competition we have. That's a tough lineup to crack, right? There's some good players that are sitting by me that they know that, hey, man, I better, if I get my opportunity to get in there, I'm going to have to show up if I want to play again tomorrow. So, and on the flip side, the starters know that there's guys nipping at their heels to play, and we have capable players right behind them. So you better come with the edge every day, or you got somebody behind you, pushing for your playing time. So that internal competition is a great thing, but having that overall depth and flexibility to put guys in different spots and actually manage a game a little bit and have fun with it, that makes my job a lot more fun.
Increasing that internal competition, is that a point of emphasis for you this offseason, to be able to add to the roster to elevate that, to elevate the program as a whole?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the goal, is you try to pile on as many impact players as you can, and if you have good problems like this, then it's a lot better than the alternative of not having enough guys, where we've been thin the past couple of years. So guys that are capable and understanding that some of these guys, the older guys, the Eamon Lances, Mario Demera, Mendoza. I was thinking about Ethan Mendoza, but those guys understand their role, right? They're older guys. They're in here for a reason. They're not only expected to contribute, but they're also teaching these young freshmen and these younger guys how to do things the right way, and the work ethic that it takes, that type of stuff. So the egos are checked at the door, which is what I'm most proud about, I guess, with some of these guys, because I know they want to play. They're all alpha males that want in the lineup, but they understand that, hey, man, this is bigger than me. This is not about me. This is about us. And if this is the best thing for our team to win, then I'll do my job the best I can. So that's what's really cool about this group.
You haven't seen a ton out of Demera. What role do you see him playing, especially with New being day-to-day for days?
Mario is a good hitter. He hasn't gotten off to he was in the cooler there for the first weekend, and trying to mix him in a little bit more often. But Mario can hit. He really can put together solid at bats. So, having him with the ability to play second or third, but mostly for me, kind of a right-handed veteran bat off the bench that could DH, could find his way in the infield there at some point in time. But just his kind of presence of having that security blanket on the bench of a good right-handed veteran bat is great.
I know we joked about pushing buttons, but how important is that dynamic that you have with the players? And of course, there is time when it's just business, but also you can have that fun and kind of lightheartedness.
I think it's not. Some may argue, but it's not my personality to be bitter all the time. There might be some that argue that, but it's my personality. I'm competitive. I want to win. I don't like losing. Who does really, I guess, but I seem to have it affect me more than most. I hate losing. But these guys know that. They understand it, and they know that I'm also can have a good time with these guys too, because this is a long season. This is their college experience. I'm not out to be a drill sergeant every day and make it miserable for them. We got to have fun too, and there's a fine line on being able to do both and having the pulse of the clubhouse to know when to throttle down and when to have a good time too.
We've heard the music from the clubhouse. Do they let you get a say in what gets played?
No. No, and I don't want to say. They probably would, you know, I try to play some of mine once in a while, and I'm like, this is from the 80s, and then I realized that they're 2008 and they were born in whatever, so I kind of forget that was before they were even considered.
How do you learn experiences just as a player at this program and also in the professional time? How do you relate those players more closely?
You know, I've spent the majority of my life in the locker room, so you know, I think having the pulse is key, and understanding when they need a kick and when they need an arm around them and a hug. You know, that type of thing is, you know, that's my job. Again, I'm not always going to be right on all that, but that's my job to kind of know the pulse of the clubhouse and what these guys need. And right now, I think they're in a good spot. This group works extremely hard. They care. They want to be good. They want to win. And you know, we understand there's some inexperience a little bit here and there, but we need those guys to be successful. So you know, having that mix in there is just it's a good dynamic. It's a good group.
Looking ahead a little bit, what about Thomas's performance tonight suggests that he's going to be ready to go up against top 10 lineup next season?
You know, I think he's the best guy we got, so that's who we're going with. You know, again, that's why we think the complete package is, again, why we chose to throw him on Friday nights. And he's not going to be able to do it by himself. We're gonna need to play defense behind him, and we're going to have to show up with the bats and support him, and we're going to need some guys out of the bullpen to step up when needed. So, you know, but Thomas will be just fine. I'm not worried about him.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.